constitutional amendments, through historic constitutional amendments, our constitution has reserved 1/3 representation in Panchayati Raj and Nagarapalikas of our nation. I am not detailing. Based on these constitutional safeguards, independent India made a lot of legislations, constitutional laws for protecting women and for giving her equal status in the society. Enactments like Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, Indecent Representation of Women Dowry Prohibition Act, Maternity Benefit Act, etc., etc., were all there in India for protecting women.
There were other 14 women in the Constituent Assembly.
According to Hansa Mehta, women form 1/2 of the population of the country, and therefore men cannot go very far without the cooperation of women. The political and social awareness of the members of the Constituent Assembly, including those 15 female voices who tried to make independent India a place not only of equal status but also of equal opportunities. The Constitution ensured that the state shall not discriminate any Indian citizen on the basis of sex. We have come a long way, yet not far enough. Even though Articles 14, 15, 19 and 21 protect the rights of working women along with her freedom and dignity, we also have to legally fight for justice. Even now, women are struggling to work with dignity in the private and public sectors. We have to overcome many hurdles. Existing restrictions on clothing, travel, language, and unwritten social taboos limit the constitutional rights of women, and gender equality remains a myth even today. We should uphold our constitution, the scientific temperament, freedom, and secularism. Taking pride in each and all women who sacrifice their life for our country, the Legislative Assembly looks forward to the discussion on women's rights as envisaged in the Indian Constitution. The nation and its women look forward to these honorable women legislators who are successfully leading the prestigious path of our legendary women.
Thank you. Thank you. Let us pay our respects to all those women who have shaped our Indian Constitution to what we are today. For the welcome address, may I invite Srimati U. Pratibha Madam, who is the Honorable Member of the Kerala Legislative Assembly, to the dais.
Welcome all. Good afternoon and namaste to one and all present here in this power-packed session on Constitution and women's rights. I am sure there wouldn't have been a session on Constitution and men's rights, isn't it? Just joking. It is indeed a great privilege for me to have the honor of welcoming some of the most prominent and powerful women leaders from across the country. Before I go and do the honors, let me take a minute to thank the one who made such opportunities possible for women in India. We have been talking about women empowerment and equal rights for women in all walks of life, but it is still not a myth for many women in the country. The Constitution of India have given lots of rights to the women, but unfortunately, majority of the Indian women are still not aware of their constitutional right. We have had a lot of powerful women leaders, so many powerful women leaders who inspired us to take up social work, politics, and so many other areas of work where women at one point of time was not even visible. In India, women are still marginalized. We are still being looked and referred as a weaker sex. When a woman achieves something, it is considered as a privilege and not her fundamental rights. Today we have 50% reservation for women in local and civic body seats, especially in Kerala. Look at the leaders on this forum. None of them have become what they are just because they are women. They have earned this position by working towards their goal by understanding their constitutional rights. I feel proud to be a part of this Kerala Assembly, which has seen the emergence of fiery revolutionists like K.R. Gauriyamma, Sushila Gopalan, etc. These leaders have contributed immensely for the current state of affairs the women in Kerala do today. I am so proud to say that I have been able to join this revolution from an young age and contribute at various levels of works. In Kerala, I believe we have been able to enjoy the constitutional rights more compared to many other places in the country. We as women leaders can contribute a lot towards educating, encouraging, and entrusting women to take up the responsibilities as per the constitutional rights and not as a privilege. I'm sure you will have very interesting views from all these dignitaries. As such, one of them have contributed immensely in their areas of their work. With that, let me do the honors welcoming today's dignitaries. First of all, I welcome Dr. Nima Bhen Acharya, Honorable Speaker of Gujarat Legislative Assembly. A doctor by profession, she has excelled in the field of medicines before entering active politics. Before becoming member of Gujarat Assembly, she had served on Gujarat Family Planning Council. Ma'am, it's an absolute honor to have you here in this session, and I welcome you on behalf of this forum. Looking forward to listen to your views on this wonderful subject, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. I don't think we need any introduction to Srimati Kanimozhi Karunanidhi. Though she was born in a powerful political family, before entering politics, she had excelled areas of journalism. As you know, she is a wonderful writer and poet. She had been the face of DMK in Delhi for over a decade now. She is currently serving as a member of parliament from Thoothukudi. Madam, it is wonderful to have you here today, and we all are looking forward to hear your journey as a women leader. Welcome, madam. Brinda Karat, our firebrand leader, is a household name not just in Kerala, but across the country. A parliamentarian, trade union leader, writer, revolutionist, Brinda Karat has many hats. She had been the face of common man for most of the agitation on common man issues. It's a privilege and honor to welcome Comrade Brinda Karat for this thought-provoking session. Welcome, Comrade Brinda. We have two insertions to this session. I'm sorry. I am proudly welcome these two persons. One is Ritu Khanduri Bhushan, first woman speaker of Uttarakhand Legislative Assembly. I welcome you, ma'am. Chandra Priyanka, who is a Minister for Transport in Pondicherry. She is also participating in our session and proudly inviting and welcoming you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. In this session, our former MLA, our firebrand MLA, Srimati R. Leda Devi, ex-MLA Kerala, I welcome you, ma'am. And my colleague and current MLA, Srimati K.K. Rema, also attending this session. Welcome, Comrade K.K. Rema. Before I wind up, let me thank our honorable speaker, Shri M.B. Rajesh, for organizing such an event and inviting such prominent personalities. Not to mention his records of session that Kerala Assembly conducts and the amount of bills that were passed in record time. Once again, I welcome you all for this wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for that very comprehensive welcome address. May I now invite Srimati R. Lata Devi, ma'am, former MLA of Kerala Legislative Assembly, who is also the moderator of this session, to speak a few words.
Good afternoon, everybody. This National Conference of Women Legislators is a unique event in the history of our nation, and especially in the history of legislators and legislation in India as well as in Kerala. And the main theme under which all these discussions and deliberations are being conducted is power to democracy. I hope that these sessions and this conference as a whole will bring power to half of India's population, and thereby it will surely strengthen the democracy of India. And we are now going to discuss in this primary section, that is the first session, Constitution and women rights. That is the topic of discussion. And as we all know, the Indian Constitution provides a lot of safeguards for protecting women and its citizens. The Constitution says that the state shall not discriminate any citizen of India on the ground of sex. As per our Constitution, the state is empowered to make any special provision for women. Employment opportunities are not to be, it cannot be denied to women on the basis of their sex. Our Constitution prohibits traffic in human beings and forced labor. It offers just and humane work conditions and maternity benefits. And it unequivocally states that men and women have equal rights to adequate means of livelihood, and it says that right to secure equal pay for, it stress on right to secure equal pay for equal work. And through constitutional amendments, through historic constitutional amendments, our constitution has reserved 1/3 representation in Panchayati Raj and Nagarapalikas of our nation. I am not detailing. Based on these constitutional safeguards, independent India made a lot of legislations, constitutional laws for protecting women and for giving her equal status in the society. Enactments like Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, Indecent Representation of Women Dowry Prohibition Act, Maternity Benefit Act, etc., etc., were all there in India for protecting women. But unfortunately, these constitutional safeguards and these women-friendly enactments at times fail to come to the rescue of woman in times of need and when she is in danger. And the history of our nation is the history of the subjugation and sufferings of women. As per Thomas Reuters Foundation poll report, India is a place most dangerous for women to reside. Even women fetus is not safe in the womb of its mother. Women are neither safe in public places, nor in places of work, nor in domestic households, nor in their journey, whether it is in road, rail, water, or air. Notorious cases of rapes and sexual assaults are taking place in different parts of the nation. Atrocities against women committed by enforcement authorities are not rare. The women are facing indecency, insult to morality, persecution for dowry, dowry deaths, etc., etc., and naturally India occupies lowest position in 2020 in the Global Gender Gap Index. Hence, strict enforcement of the laws that is necessitated. After all, political participation of women is an indicator of the status of the women in society, but in this respect our nation is far, far behind, and it occupies 143rd position among the nations of the world. Total number of parliamentary opportunities in India at present is 4,896. Of this, only 418 is female women representatives. That means men are 11 times more than women in the matter of being representatives in legislative bodies. I am not detailing, but the necessity of the time is increasing the participation of women in the political bodies the political empowerment of India and the passage of the much awaited Women's Representation Bill in the Parliament, which is already there in the storage of Rajya Sabha since 2010. We have to limit the time in this session. These most distinguished guests will get only 10 minutes each. So I am concluding and congratulating all of you who are attending this augustous gathering today. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. Before inviting our first esteemed speaker, Dr. Nimaben Acharya, Honorable Speaker of the Gujarat Legislative Assembly, may I request my technical team to kindly relay a very short film on the life and work of Shri Dr. Nimaben Acharya.
Dr. Nimaben Acharya, member of Gujarat Legislative Assembly from Anjar. Dr. Nimaben Acharya is a BJP leader and has also served as member of the Gujarat Family Planning Council. Earlier in 2002 and 2007, she had won Legislative Assembly seat as a Congress candidate. She is a medical doctor and social worker.
Thank you, my technical team. It's a kind request to all the dignitaries to kindly maintain the time of 10 minutes so that we can smoothly run the session. With a huge round of applause, let us welcome Dr. Nimaben Acharya ji for addressing the gathering.
Good afternoon, everybody. It gives me immense pleasure to participate in this unique National Women Legislator Conference under the auspices of 75th anniversary of our great nation independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. On this occasion, I compliment the Kerala legislator and the government of Kerala for bringing together these highly talented women legislators of our country, even after suffering catastrophic effect of epidemic of COVID-19. At this stage, I take privilege. Where is Mr. M.B. Rajesh? He's gone already? I give my compliments and congratulations to Kerala Speaker, Mr. M.B. Rajesh, and Government of Kerala to giving us this platform and the opportunity. And this is an historical event where all women are together and we are going to discuss the issues and problems and solution of women legislators. Speaking about the right available to women in the country, rights are classified in two categories, namely constitutional rights and legal rights. Based on the complement to gender equality, is reinforced by the fact that we have endorsed various international efforts and rectified various international conventions and human rights instruments towards securing equal rights for women since the adoption of United Nations Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women in 1979. Some important legislation are the Equal Remuneration Act of 1976, the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 as amendment in 1976, the Marriage Act, the Immoral Traffic Act of as amended in 1986, the Delivery Provision Act as amended in 1984, and the second amendment brought in 1986 makes the husband or in-laws punishable. Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, the Medical Termination Act of 1971 is amended in 2002. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, the Protection of Women Against Sexual Harassment at Workplace, and various other amendable, which includes the Indian Divorce Act, the Hindu Succession Act, the Marriage Laws Amendment Acts, etc. So many rights, so many amendments as well, so many legal acts we have. But even after all these laws, introducing in survey conducted by the Nation Family Health Surveys 5, the said NFHS survey also highlights that among the women who have experienced physical and sexual violence and sought help, the most common source of support was the woman's own family. And in 77, the report also indicates that 77% of women surveyed never sought any help or told anybody about the violence inflicted on them. So we always keep silence, and that is why the women are suffering. Shortcut, because I have to speak only 10 minutes. In the other field, wherever involvement of women is concerned, under the nation mission of empowerment of women to achieve intersectorial convergences of all pro-women and women concrete programs across ministry in the government, we as legislator have important role in getting those programs implemented at the grassroots level itself. And this national mission is engaged in striving to achieve social, economic, and legal empowerment of women by identifying the gaps in development goals and setting up the appropriate institutional framework to tide over bottlenecks in the process of ensuring coordinated and effective services delivery in women at grassroots level. In the political front, you all are aware that the 73rd and 74th Amendment to our Constitution are landmark enactment towards the ensuring the 33% of the total seats of members and of the chairperson are of women in all elected offices in local bodies. But the Constitution 110 and 112th Amendment Bills 2009 for enhancing the cantonment of reservation for women from the 33% to 50% of total seats in panchayat and municipalities respectively are pending in the Lok Sabha. Whenever some of the states have already increased the seats to 50%, so Gujarat and Kerala is a state where we have started giving 50% reservation in panchayat and municipalities. Constitution 108th Amendment Bill seeking reservation of 1/3 of the seat for women in the Lok Sabha and the state legislature has been passed by the Rajya Sabha, but it is still pending for consideration in the Lok Sabha. Wherever we go, they ask, what about the 50% reservation? Today, 160 women legislators have attended this conference. And I ask that 418 legislators are there in India. 9% women legislators are there in India. So everybody is asking us the question where we go, that when the 50% reservation for women comes. So this is the starting, and this is the historical event, I will say. And in this history, the name of M.B. Rajesh will be in the front, that he has given us this opportunity. So I wanted to give him standing ovation, but he is not there now. Where is he? Oh, so let us give a standing ovation to Mr. M.B. Rajesh. Give a standing ovation to M.B. Rajesh. Please, my request. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajesh. It is observed that many parties in our country have separate women right wing inside the party, or the presence of women in the party literacy as far from satisfactory. This makes it imperative for the political parties to encourage women in the decision-making process of the party. They need to be accommodated in the main party literacy. Hence, among other things, there should be a legislation to make it mandatory for political parties to provide for a representation of at least 30% of organization position at every level for women, and also distribute at least 30% of their party tickets amongst the women at the time of election. I request Mr. Rajesh that at the end of the conclusion of this meeting with convention, we should resolve that there should be given 30% reservation for women legislators. So this will be the outcome of this convention. Coming to the situation of women in my state, I will like to speak about the Gujarat. क्योंकि हमारे गुजरात के सपूत आदरणीय श्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जो हमारे सीएम रहे, 13 साल गुजरात के सीएम रहे, और उनके साथ 13 साल काम करने का एज ए एमएलए मुझे मौका मिला. It is my proud and my privilege to speak about him and speak about the Gujarat state, what they are doing for women. I will just enumerate few things. When Narendra Bhai has become the CM of Gujarat, first of all, what he said, उन्होंने बोला, सबसे पहला सेंटेंस उनका, सबसे पहला मैसेज उनका ये था कि जिस देश में 50% पॉपुलेशन महिलाओं का होता है, वो देश की प्रगति, वो देश का विकास, वो राज्य का विकास महिलाओं के डेवलपमेंट के बिना हो नहीं सकता है. So women development is the priority of Narendra Bhai Modi when he became the CM. And then, not only that he speak out and given the message, पर उन्होंने गुजरात में सबसे पहले वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट का मिनिस्ट्री अलग बनाया, और वो मिनिस्ट्री में उन्होंने आनंदीबेन पटेल को, जो आज यूपी के गवर्नर है, उनको मिनिस्टर बनाया वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट का. और तब से लेके आज तक वुमेन डेवलपमेंट के लिए बहुत सारी पॉलिसीज बनी गुजरात में. वो सब पॉलिसी में मैं 5-6 चीज़ें बताऊंगी, क्योंकि सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ मेरी दृष्टि से अगर कोई भी है तो सेफ्टी ऑफ द वुमन है. और वो पॉलिसी के लिए उन्होंने 33% वुमन रिजर्वेशन सबसे पहले पुलिस में दिया. तो आज गुजरात में आप देखोगे, जहाँ पे भी देखोगे, महिलाएं आपको पुलिस के ड्रेस में सज्ज दिखेगी और ड्यूटी करते हुए, तो देन वी फील प्राउड कि वुमन आर सर्विसिंग एज ए पुलिस. सो उसके बाद नारी पुलिस स्टेशन, महिला पुलिस स्टेशन बनाया, कि जहाँ पे हर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में महिला पुलिस स्टेशन बना, नारी अदालत बनी. और अभियम हेल्पलाइन 181 डायल करो, आप फटाफट पुलिस की वाहन, आप जहाँ पे भी तकलीफ में वहाँ वो आ जाएगी, और पुलिस और डॉक्टर सब लोग होंगे और उसको हेल्प करेंगे. तो 181 हेल्पलाइन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द सेफ्टी ऑफ द वुमन. इस तरह से मैं बताऊंगी आपको कि सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, both things are very important. और उन्होंने जिस तरह से इकोनॉमिक अपलिफ्टमेंट के लिए वुमेन के लिए जो पॉलिसीज बनाई, उसमें आज MSME में देखो तो महिला भी है, और आप सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप जिस तरह से बना के डाउन ग्रास रूट में जो महिलाएं हैं उनको हेल्प करने के लिए उन्होंने जिस तरह से सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के लिए जो पॉलिसीज बनाई और उनको जितनी फैसिलिटी दी है, आज हम देख रहे हैं गांव गांव में हर जगह छोटे वहाँ से रूट से महिलाएं वो इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज करती है, गवर्नमेंट उसको फाइनेंस करती है, कोई गारंटर की जरूरत नहीं है, ऑन द गेट फाइनेंस। महिलाओं को कोई भी इकोनॉमिक कार्यक्रम करना है तो सबसे पहले जरूरत इनको फाइनेंस की पड़ती है, और फाइनेंस मिलेगा तो सी कैन डू द बेस्ट थिंग। तो उसके लिए जिस तरह से गवर्नमेंट ने पॉलिसी बनाई कि बिना गारंटर और बिना इंटरेस्ट सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप की महिलाओं को फाइनेंस किया जाता है, ये सबसे बड़ा अचीवमेंट मैं समझती हूँ महिलाओं के लिए है। क्योंकि एक घर में अगर इकोनॉमिक वुमेन के हाथ में है, वो कुछ अपनी आमदनी इकट्ठी कर सकती है तो उसका मान सम्मान बढ़ता है। चाहे वर्किंग वुमेन इज़ वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट, एंड ये जो पॉलिसी है उससे महिलाओं का मान सम्मान बढ़ा है, ऐसे में मानती हूँ। और मैं आपको एक बात और भी बताना चाहूँगी कि नरेंद्र भाई जिस तरह से गुजरात के फर्स्ट टाइम CM बने, बाद में उन्होंने आनंदीबेन को गुजरात का फर्स्ट वुमेन CM ऑफ गुजरात इज आनंदीबेन पटेल, एंड फर्स्ट वुमेन स्पीकर ऑफ गुजरात मुझे बनाया, तो ये मेरे लिए भी बहुत गौरव की बात है। और सिर्फ मेरे लिए नहीं पर हर एक महिलाओं के लिए एक गौरव की बात इसलिए है कि महिला को अपॉर्चुनिटी देना यही सबसे बड़ी बात है। और जिस तरह से हमको ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया गया है, तो मैं अंत में यही बताऊंगी कि कमिंग टू द सिचुएशन ऑफ वुमेन इन माय स्टेट, गुजरात द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट promulgates the budgetary policies and implication addressing gender equality through gender responsible strategies, schemes and programs so as to ensure that the fruits of development reach to every individual based on the global agenda of sustainable development goal for empowering women in the society. Since 2014 to 15, the state government has become publishing gender budget pertaining to women specific financial allocation. The document provides insight into various initiatives by the state government. It also enables the development of to determine the need and justification for the gender specific allocation in various sectors. Gender budgeting process is now institutionalized with the state budgeting system, and for the sum, the gender budget statement 2022 to 23 has been prepared in line with the state budget 2022-23, in which we have around 1,009 major schemes under 100% provision towards women for their education, protection, healthcare, livelihood as the primary objectives. From this, the gender-oriented allocation with scheme of 100% and 33 to 99% for women can be recognized, and the government do hope that these documents would help in addressing gender gap, if any, and direct the power prospective public expenditure on women and girls. Such a system would be useful in strengthening the state's effort, the holistic development and empowerment of women in the state. अंत में इतना ही बताऊंगी कि women empowerment is the main topic all over. We always say empowered women. यहाँ पे जो आप सब आए हैं, all are empowered women, and I will say that जो problems है, महिलाओं के जो issues है, उनका जो solution है, वो विषय में जिन्होंने PhD किया, मैं तो डॉक्टर हूँ, गायनेकोलॉजिस्ट, मेडिकल डॉक्टर, पर यहाँ बैठी हुई सभी महिलाएं ये PhD डॉक्टर है, क्योंकि सारा दिन महिलाओं के डेवलपमेंट के लिए सोचती है और उसके लिए काम करती है, और पूरा एक्सपीरियंस यहाँ बैठी हुई हर एक महिलाओं के है। तो मैं आप सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई देती हूँ और इतना ही बोलूँगी कि जैसे यहाँ पे जेंडर इक्वालिटी की बात है, ब्रेकिंग द बायस इज टुडेज मेन टॉपिक। जो भी गैप है, जेंडर गैप, उसको पूरा करना है और उसके लिए हम सबको मेहनत करनी है, ग्रास रूट लेवल से हमको मेहनत करनी है। और साथ में एक ही स्लोगन हमारी होनी चाहिए कि मैन एंड वुमन आर इक्वल पार्टनर ऑफ द लाइफ, दे आर कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एंड दे आर सप्लीमेंट्री। आप सबको मेरी ओर से बहुत बहुत बधाई, कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन, थैंक यू सो मच, ऑल द बेस्ट।
थैंक यू सो मच मैम, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका। Next, we would like to invite Srimati Ritu Khanduri ji, Honorable Speaker of the Uttarakhand Vidhan Sabha, for addressing the audience.
Thank you so much. Constitution and Women Rights के कार्यक्रम में मंच पर विराजमान मॉडरेटर श्रीमती आर लता देवी जी, हमारी बहुत ही सीनियर एंड वेरी ऑनरेबल श्रीमती बृंदा करात जी, डॉक्टर नीमा बेन आचार्य जी, श्रीमती कणिमोड़ी करुणानिधि जी, श्रीमती के रेमा जी, श्रीमती प्रियंका जी, and of course the Sutradhar Mr. Rajesh. I am extremely